We work hard as physicians to take care of the health and well-being of our patients. But when it comes to our money, do we have the same condition of care? Probably not. Let's change that together. Welcome to the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast, where we'll fight and advocate for your financial literacy. As always, I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. Thanks for being here. Let's jump into the show. Hey guys, I want to welcome you guys to the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast. We've got a great episode this week. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button as well as the notifications bell, and be sure to like, comment, and share if you like this episode, and we'll get into this week's sponsor and show. This week's episode is sponsored by CityVest. CityVest has quickly become the most popular and best way for doctors to invest in top-performing real estate private equity funds that are usually reserved for institutional investors. This unique access to investing in these institutional funds is available for the first time ever through CityVest's easy and secure online investment platform. CityVest does the hard work of conducting due diligence and vetting the investments. They even get a third-party due diligence report that is posted on their website. As a result of aggregating a several $million investment amount into their access funds, CityVest gains access to investing in the institutional investment and is able to negotiate better investment terms such as a 12% preferred return. You can check them out at cityvest.com or go to the link in the show notes below. Now on to the show. Before we begin today's content, here is a quick disclaimer. The information and material presented here is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as investment advice. The content is not a recommendation to buy or to sell. Some of the content may be for accredited investors only or may be sponsored posts. Every investment carries risks. Results have not been verified, so carefully weigh those risks against your investment goals and objectives and see if acting on the information matches with your investment thesis. Do your due diligence prior to investing, and as always, do not invest more than you can afford to lose. So welcome everybody to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom for Physicians podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. And as you know, I talk about 4 different types of freedom: financial, time, location, emotional freedom. And my mission is to bring you education, information, and bring you guests that are really out there on the cutting edge changing the world. So today we actually have a very interesting guest. Her name is Barbara Kite, and she's actually specializes in the area of drama and acting, and she's going to be talking about speaking, acting. She's a coach and mentor, and talking about your authentic self. So Barbara, welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I know we were talking backstage, and I think you have a lot to offer because people are really scared to show up in today's world, and you were talking about authenticity, and really just I could sense the power in your words. So
as I said to you earlier, I teach an acting class, and I've been in acting for a long time. And one of my acting students said, "You should teach this to public speaking." And I thought, I don't see how that would work. Who needs this? But I found out that people are just as afraid as actors are, afraid to show up public speaking. And if they focus on the audience or the person they are speaking to in the back of the room, that takes care of it. They're not focusing on themselves. They're not watching, checking, judging, anticipating. All that attention is not off of them. They're reacting to what they're getting. And that's all that matters. If you stay present in the moment, Sanford Meisner, a great acting coach, present right now in front of people, talking to them, focusing on them, being authentic, being yourself. Who else are you going to be? You're going to try hard to be something you're not. It's going to sound phony. And then there are great stories. You have got to tell a good story. Nobody's going to remember facts and figures. Nobody. Trust me, people walk away, they've written it down, they don't remember it, but the story, oh, I've had some great stories told in presentations. Wonderful. If I had time, I'd maybe tell you one of them. But it supports your theme, it supports your message, especially if it's a personal story. Very simply, I used to go visit my grandmother in the South. It was very hot as I walked down the street that she lived on. Through my sandals, I could feel the heat coming up my soles of my feet. And as I got to her house, I walked up the cranky stairs and I looked in, and there she was waving at me with her yellow apron on, large woman. And behind her, I saw my grandfather, and she said, shh, he wasn't feeling well. So I saw what I was talking about. Did you? Did you see what I was talking about? Well, if you did, then you understand you're not watching me. You're not focusing on me. You're focusing on what I give you, the story I give you. Now, each story, each speech, each communication has to have a little anecdote or a little story to support it, to support the message. And once it has that, you hear the story, you will remember the message. And there are other things, and I started to get into them. There are technical things you're going to have to learn. How to slow down. I had a person on Oregon Public Broadcasting who could not slow down. I had to spend days with her going, stop, start, stop, start. People don't know what you know. You have to give them a pause to catch up.
So I have a question for you. I get a lot of clients interested in public speaking, and I really like the idea that we were talking backstage where you're talking about not about you.
Right. It is not about you. It's not even forgetting about yourself. It's realizing that the audience is not interested in you. They don't care about you. They want to see through you to themselves, doing what you're talking about and succeeding. It's all about them. So get out of your own way and let them see the things you're talking about. The way I'm telling you, you can be vibrant, you can be authentic, you can do a great story, you can do the different levels of speaking, pitch, pace, power, pauses, over articulation, the value of every word. You can learn how to do that and use it. And that is just training. I mean, I know people go up there in front of other people and start speaking, but they talk very quickly and they don't put any pauses and they don't worry about what they're saying, and they don't realize that what they know, the audience doesn't know. And you have to pause. You have to let the audience catch up. They don't want to see you. They want to see through you to themselves, doing and succeeding at what you're talking about. Yeah. I think that's what you meant, right?
Yeah. And then one thing that I want to point out to the listeners is you can tell Barbara's enthusiasm, passion, and it's coming through her voice and her words and her energy. So for, especially for actors or public speakers or thought influencers, energy and passion, that's what it is.
Absolutely. You don't believe it, they won't believe it. If you don't feel great about it, why should they? You have to make that, in that short period of time you're on stage, you have to create that world for them.
And how do they do that?
How does the speaker do that? Well, the things that I've already mentioned to you, all the attention is over there. If you notice somebody nod their head, you acknowledge it. If you notice somebody else doing something else, you are there listening to them. Sometimes you put a person in the back of the room who you know needs to hear this and will walk away with more information and excitement than they had when they came. And they maybe not even tell you about it, but there's someone you're speaking to who needs or wants this. One thing I like for my clients to do is get a compliment file. Compliments you have had from people that have told you, thank you for doing this. Thank you for talking to us about this. Thank you for the information. Not everybody does that, but once in a while you get them and you forget. that what you have to say is useful, is important. I'm so glad that people get to learn how to be different in front of other people. Go out, embrace energy in the room. Yes, I'm so glad, because some of them have some very important things to give to an audience.
We hope you don't mind this brief interruption from one of our affiliates.
Doc to Doc is a personal lending solution designed by doctors for doctors. We understand that doctors' financial situations change faster than an insulin drip in ketoacidosis. And we also understand that doctors are the most reliable borrowers in the world. Through our proprietary algorithm, we're able to provide personal loans at great rates with amazing flexibility, because we take into account your schooling, your specialty, and where you are in the medical journey. Doctors come to us after they've matched into residency, and we loan for all sorts of personal reasons, from credit card debt consolidation to family expenses and medical bills. We speak with everyone who applies for a loan and offer fixed interest rates and flexible term options without prepayment penalties. If you're a physician looking for a personal loan, fill out our application form now. It only takes 3 minutes, and we'll get back to you with a decision within 24 hours.
A lot of people talk about, on point and staying on topic. How do people, one of the things that clients talk to me about is wandering off topic. How do people fix that?
Piece of paper. You write down the 3 most important things. Mine is authenticity, storytelling, listening to the audience. If I go back to any one of those topics and I look down and say, authenticity, I have a whole slew of information about that, because I'm an expert in my field. And most of the people who are speaking are experts in their field. 2 words, 1 word will remind you to go back to what you're saying. You look down, you go storytelling. Okay, I can talk about sense memory, see, smell, taste, touch, hear it when you're telling the story, make it personal. I could go on forever. You too can, if you write down the major words of your speech. And after that, it's off the cuff. You don't read it. You do not ever read a speech, because that's what it sounds like. And it just sounds like you're looking for the next word, and it sounds monotone, and it some kind of goes fast, and it doesn't say anything, no pauses, no anything, no emphasis on any words. And people are asleep. I have walked on stage where I've, opened it up by seeing that people are now about to go to lunch and they want to get out of there. And I'll get on there and I'll go, what a great day it's been. What a rare mood I'm in. I'm so glad you're all here. Woo! What do you need to do to connect to them? Energy goes out. You give yourself of yourself to them.
Do you have any secrets about getting comfortable and confident on stage?
Again, all the attention is on what you are talking about and the people in the auditorium. On stage, sometimes I have the successful person. One of my clients had a kid on stage in her imagination who she had helped by making false diamonds so the kid wouldn't have to work in diamond mines. And the kid had told her that summer, only 2 of my friends died. She's speaking on behalf of that child. She wants the audience to know, don't buy real blood diamonds, buy these diamonds. And she's speaking to somebody she's already convinced. They're in the back. They're listening. They need to hear this. This is not for you. It's to help somebody else. And if you're not helping, what are you on this planet for? I'm sorry. The only reason we're here is we're given gifts that we have to pass on. I'm lucky. I know what mine is, and most of the people I work with are appreciative of the gift that I can give them. Speak up. Speak up.
I like that. Another question. So I know you work with a lot of different clients, and it's kind of this interview has been really interesting because more just to point out, especially in the acting field. So why should people stop playing small, and how can they use their voice?
You're dead if you're small. they just pass you over. Listen, if you want to go in a corner and die, do it. But you don't have a choice. If you've got something in you that is worth sharing, that is worth making, that you believe can make a difference in other people's lives, your obligation, your purpose, your demands that you do the very best you can in finding out how to share it as best as you can, to help others to understand that what you have been given. It's necessary. It's the purpose. It's my purpose in life. I'd be bored or dead. I don't know which, probably both. If I didn't feel, and I do an acting class every time I do an acting class. They go up there, they do their monologue. It's a little quiet. It's not as passionate. They're watching themselves. I go, tweak, do this, focus on a person that really bothers you. No, really bothers you. And it changes. And then I listen to them as an audience member. I get in touch. And the reason I do acting is that I want everyone to know we're not alone. You notice somebody on stage, you identify with them, you go, they can do this. Great playwrights write wonderful characters. If they can do this, I can do this. Oh, I thought I was alone. Death of a Salesman. I thought I was alone. My father was Death of a Salesman, was the salesman. And I go, wow. I loved Tennessee Williams because of it. I think that was who wrote it. Anyway, I'm getting old. I'm forgetting things. It's to know that we're not alone. And that's one way theater does that for you. And as a speaker, you can do that too. You can touch the places that you go, you want to help the kid who's out there in Africa and doing these diamonds? I'm not asking very much of you. Go buy that diamond ring that society told you needed for your wedding. Go buy it, but don't buy a real one, because the other friends that this person has that is on stage with me and is 8, they're going to die. And you're responsible for it. Okay, you got to shut me up because I can go on and on. Preacher, that's what I am.
Yeah. This has been a very interesting interview. Definitely very unique. And I hope the listeners take away, that you can use acting skills in your voice and story to, become a thought influencer. So how can people contact you?
I wrote an ebook called Great Speakers Use Acting Skills. It's an ebook. It's on my website, barbarakite.com. All of this information and more is in there. You can help yourself to it. It's $10. I'm happy to talk to anybody. What more can I say? I hope everybody just believes that what they have to say is not about them, and what they have to say is important for other people. It's a gift. You're giving a gift.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. And, all of your resources will be included in the show notes. And, we look forward to hearing about your success.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for making this easy. You did a great job. Thank you.
What a fantastic show. I hope you enjoyed our very special guest. Just remember, as a shout out to our this week's sponsor, cityvest.com. CityVest gives you access to the best real estate private equity funds with enhanced investment terms, verified due diligence, and lower risk. You can check them out at cityvest.com or click on the link in the show notes below to hear about their upcoming investment offerings. If you enjoyed that episode, don't forget, that's just the free content. We also have paid premium content subscription with better guests, information, updates, and discussions that can't be accessed anywhere else. You can subscribe to our premium content by clicking on the link in the show notes below to subscribe. Just a quick note, members who sign up for the bottom floor price introductory the first year will be grandfathered into that price for life. I expect the monthly subscription amount to increase quickly next year and the year after, so don't delay. I'm excited that you made it for another episode. You are truly the best. If you've been following the show for a while, you know that my passion is to bring you the education you need to find your path to financial freedom. Please come back week after week for new content, new resources, and great guests. Until then, if you haven't already, please be sure to check out the website, www.drchrislumdphd.com for more support. I'll see you next week.